Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Spiritual Energy. Make sure that you subscribe if you are not already and come in. Welcome to the reading. So, we are going to be doing one for the collective. Um, I guess I'm going to go ahead and shuffle back through. This is going to be for, thank you, God. Let me explain what I was, because I know y'all heard me about to explain something, right? I was shuffling through the cards, and immediately when I put my hands on my cards, cards are going to come out, okay, in the order in which they need to. It's just that, um, the cards are gonna I'm sorry, guess what, this is gonna be in real time. I'm gonna leave it out because I'm like trying to think through and go everything. So thank you, God, for being here with me. Some cards already started to come out as soon as I put my hands on it. No need to even shuffle because God's like, whatever I need to come out, it'll come out. So I was gonna go ahead and leave out these cards, but as soon as I started talking to y'all, automatic instinct, I started shuffling the cards. And when I did that, I was like, oh shoot, I put back the two cards that I was going to just go ahead and leave out to pull. Well, shuffle the cards and it comes back on top. So, just wanted to let you guys know that little story. So we do have work through your fears. Like I said, this is going to be for the collective new moon reading. Thank you, God. I'm going to take these cards back to back. Um I I'm going to go ahead and put these out there. We do have be bold and make the first move. Also, step out of your comfort zone. And we did have the card of believe in the impossible. I was just going to go ahead and pull that. But guys, this is really, they said, a magical prophetic time. Okay. And the reason being that they use that word because there's something about using the word magical, right? It illuminates your eyes. It makes you feel like, thank you, God. But the card that he was bringing up, which is believe in the impossible. Okay, it's a very strategic plan, but thank you, God. He says it's a very strategic plan for me, right? For coming from God, but for us, it just seems like wow, amazement. Thank you, God, for pulling down this card. So it's the amazement, it's the wow factor, seeing the end of a project and then just being able, thank you, God. He's taking me to like a ballroom or like an event, a wedding event, thank you, God, union event, where he's just showing that the end result, you talk to the wedding planner, you talk to God about what you would like to co-create with him, the visions that you have, everything that you've been writing down on this manifestation list. Thank you, God, because he's just having me repeat it, that it's now. So if this reading resonates with you, definitely take it and hold it in. But he's showing this event that you co-created on, you let the planner, you let God know the things that you were looking at, and he just brings it through. And when you see these visions, when you see these things come alive, it's just like, oh my gosh, you did it. And you also did it in a way I was not expecting. It's more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. Okay, do you understand that? It's more beautiful than what I could have ever imagined. So work through your fears, be bold and make the first move. Step out of your comfort zone, believe in the impossible. All of these things that are action-based words. So if you feel like there's a new car that you want to go purchase, go ahead and for fun, go test drive that vehicle. Go get all up in that vehicle, okay? Shop online, pick out the colors, do this, do that, but really get into the whole entire vibes and don't think about that end result of how am I going to pay. That's God's wow factor. He's going to apply it and put it all together, okay? So those are super. So excited for that because our leading card is a new moon. And you know how they say, believe in the impossible. This is once in every blue moon that this ends up happening. You feel like in your life that something just this big ends up happening and it hasn't in a while. So it's leading you to believe like, well, when is the blue moon? Like the blue moon obviously has to be coming soon because I haven't had one of these in a while. You get what I'm saying? Like you haven't had something like this manifest for you in a while, so you know that your blue moon time is coming up. This card has been hot on the table for Taurus especially, though, but meaning that they do this for the collective for about 2 months now, okay? And they're like, get laser focused, hone in on this energy, get on top of it. I was just explaining to my son today, I'm like, there's a difference when you're driving, when you're first learning how to drive and you feel kind of like you're holding back, or when it's your first time. I was explaining to him the first time getting on the highway, and I was like, you can kind of like ease in there. But I was telling him, if you just sat up and you engaged yourself, and not to use the word aggressive, but it's just to apply an energy that was similar to that, just to where you're hopping on top of the energy, you know, that's where they want you to be at, on the energy where you're on top of it, not where you're just feeling like, well, I'll let the universe do whatever it wants to do with me just as long as I get it. No, you want to be on top of that energy as well. Meaning, if you're looking for a move, you don't want to be under the energy where it's just like, hey, I'm getting ransacked. It's time for me to get out. I'm throwing my stuff everywhere into boxes just to make it out of this place. No, if you've been getting a timely message for a while now, make sure that you're packed up in the neatest way. Go ahead and make a list that labels all of your boxes and different things, right? So, shooting out for our next our next card is Ignite Your Passion. You guys, I've got so many stories because it's also revelations and realizations, right? I was going to look at apartments, and all of a sudden my heart just started lighting up. I felt like I was on top of the energy versus me just trying to look for an apartment. This felt different. But they're also saying to ignite your passions, guys. Focus in on that sacral chakra. And then they said start to be away with yourself. Start to be a certain way with yourself. Um, the negative talks obviously have to stop. It's not just about the negative talks. Um, but that, sorry, I'm trying to really get into how they're saying it, because yes, that does involve around negativity, but it's more like how you're treating yourself. And it doesn't have to be extremely poorly. It could just be like, well, I recognize this and this is my reality, and they're like, we're trying to pull you out of that side. That's why we're believing in the impossible, and we're just taking it a step further. Okay, I still want to have these in the view because that's where I was tapping. So they do say find a way to forgive. um they said come into the light and forgive yourself. So those things that you really feel like, wow, in the past, if I would have known this is how it would be right now, I would have changed XYZ. Or before, thank you, God, before, when your thinking was, this is just how it's supposed to be. Um, Everything is right. I'm right here where I'm supposed to be. But then as you're looking back, you're like, but dang, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have done it like this. And he said, well, there's a possibility, there's a chance that you would have or you wouldn't have. But he said, just go ahead and forgive yourself, because in this next stage, in this next phase of your life, you will have the chance to be a more awakened sense of yourself, to where you can make these decisions, to where you are really aware of everything that's going on. And thank you, God. And he said also of the challenges that you received. Before, he said it was almost as if it were in passing, that, you were going through something, you were just like, this is so hard. But now you're kind of on top of it, to where you can see, oh, this is a challenge. Now, how do I take this on? You get what I'm saying? Instead of letting something happen to you. So you also have Live Your Purpose Moonstone. I'm a little bit shocked right now out of my crystal boxes that I have. I guess I left one in the car that does have my moonstone, because I was feeling this hot and fresh before the reading even started, okay? But making sure that you're hopping on living your purpose. Some of those challenges that you did receive before, although it's like, dang, I wish I could just tuck these, some of them, I wish I could just tuck them away and hide them and not even have to admit or talk about the situation in its entirety. It's like, no, he's just said, I need all of these things. God says, I need all of these things, because all of these things make you the best, make you beautiful, make you who I have challenged and called you to be. Without some of these things, you wouldn't have, thank you, God, the character development that you have now. So he said, take all these things and apply them. And especially when we're feeling a little bit more, thank you, God, with the whole cue of find a way to forgive. Um, a lot of times when we have a little bit of that remorse or we're feeling, I don't want to say resentful, that word is kind of coming up. It's just, even though you're feeling a certain way about your past, he's like, I want to use that. I want to use that. So forgive yourself for the things that you went through before, because I need to use this. I need to use this to be able to tell somebody else who's in a similar situation as you, or who has gone through some of these things, that, hey, it's going to be all right. I'm using you as an example. Live your purpose by showing, thank you, God, by showing me. It's like a reversal thing. It's hard to explain, because he's like, show me them and show me you. It's more like a trinity of showing each other. They're like the people who you are showing yourself off to, in a way. Um, they're able to see God in you. So he's like, don't deny these things that I gave you, because then you're not able to show me off in the glory and the graciousness that I'm able to give. You want to make sure that you include and involve all of these things. So that is hot on the tea. Why, God? He has me look over at the romance angels. Yeah, I'm absolutely trying. I'm absolutely trying. I do get a little, antsy in my stomach, because God, what about the wild offering? What about the wild offering? We're getting into it. Let's see what this one is. Healing family issues. He said a lot of these things, because he uses a past tense word. So he goes, a lot of these things you have already dealt with. Okay. A lot of these things you all have already dealt with. If you've gotten recently or in the past to block certain family members or whatever, and you're like, I've been feeling better since I've, excluded them. Perfect. You've already dealt with it. Okay. So if you feel like you've dealt with it, you're on the right track. If you still have some dealings with, or you're kind of going through the emotions of what you dealt with, that's okay. But he said, hop on the train, hop on the bandwagon real quick. Okay. Hop on it real quick. That was one too many. Stay optimistic about your love life. I'm only going to take the ones that did seem to flip over. Make an effort, which also comes in with the step out of your comfort zone, being bold and making the first move. A great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Do some initiatives, guys. Okay. Thank you, God. He just now showed me the last dream that I ever had, that was recent, with my twin flame, that I could remember. And I guess he had come to visit me. I was really, really excited, um, but I didn't want to be the first one to call and show that excitement, once he left, right? Um, so I just kind of kept holding off, and then he did end up calling me, but he ended up calling me because he knew that I was wanting to call him, but it didn't create or give that much spark. It was kind of like oh, okay, well, I'm calling you again, like, I'm showing all this initiative. I came to see you. I'm really excited too, but I didn't get to see the part where you were really excited. You know, you weren't really excited. You might have been really excited to call me, but you didn't. You were kind of like, I'm not going to call him first. I'm not going to do this first. He's going to do all this. I'm not going to do it. God is like, do not play that role anymore. Take the initiative. Okay. Heart to heart conversation. So that just falls right in line with what I just, thank you, God, with what I just explained. Okay. Having that heart to heart, really putting yourself out there, going all in for it. He said, the past is the past, and they may have forgotten some things. He said, be careful on what you want to bring up and what you want to reminisce on. because later on, when these challenges may come through, you guys can heal them a day at a time. But for all of the excitement of the union and things that are coming together and spreading forth, he's like, just take it day by day, take it issue by issue. Don't take it as a lump sum, as a whole lump whole, because you don't want to um you don't, sorry, my battery is gonna get low. You don't really want to, he said, you're really smashing your eggs all in one basket, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so another one that we have here is keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. And it's going like this. For some of you, yes, it can end up being a different person than what you expected. I did have, oh, thank you, God. I did have another dream where I was like, oh, I know he's here. Like I'm in a store. Thank you, God. The last dream that I had was definitely the vibes of my twin flame that I know, that I understand. This next dream was um of me being in a store, and I was like, "Oh, I know he's here." And I look around the corner, and it's this taller, a person whose description is different from my twin flame. Okay. Thank you, God. They say almost exaggerated. It was like an exaggerated version in some parts. So they're saying just keep an open mind, because when they do come back, thank you, God. He says this is what allows for that newness to really kick in and settle in, because don't expect for them to be the same person. You don't want them to think that you are the same exact person, right? You have taken this time, you've learned, you've grown. Thank you, God. You've become this magical person in their eyes, really, rather. Thank you, God. Because at the same time that he's telling me this, it's almost like it's very flirty. It's very flirty. Like we're giving like flirty compliments, like very loving but flirtatious compliments right now. So he's like, you're this magical person now, and like you really need to show that off, and you don't want this person, like I said, to feel this same way in any of the sorts. So keep an open mind how they may be coming to you now, dressing different, hair different. Um, thank you. They're just naming a bunch of things. They're like the linguistics. They're like just language barriers from before. There might be different things. There's so many different things to name. They're like, we're not going to just name just one. Just don't imagine this person to be the same person. Thank you, God. He's told me this before. He's like, you're going to recognize them, but you're not going to feel like, oh, you already know them. This is going to be the same old run. You don't want it to be the same old run. So we're definitely not trying to manifest the same old person, right? We want to see them for the growth that they are establishing. And they said so much information that we've already provided thus far, and I'm so thankful for that. So we're not going to go into the other detailed readings at this time. Guys, make sure you're staying on top of this. Taking care of myself is a radical act of love. And then they go self-love. Okay? And then we also have let me be still today and listen to truth in silence. Taking care of myself. If you know that you are expecting a reunion with your twin flame, or just anybody, you notice people have been very flirtatious with you lately. And I'm talking about, it's getting really weird for me, because I'm like, I'm doing the same old thing, except I don't know what it is. I'm like washing my face before I go out, and it feels like makeup. It's really, really strange. Um and it's like people are seeing me in a different light. It's very different. So they're just saying, making sure that you're taking care of yourself, okay? Do a little something extra, and it doesn't have to be learning a whole new makeup course or whatever the case may be. It's just that little, thank you, God, that little simplified act of taking care of yourself, okay? Pulling your shirt down, like ironing your clothes out instead of going out with wrinkles. Something else that you're adding to your self worth. Okay. It says, "Let me be still," and then minimize the self worth. Don't minimize. Don't minimize the self worth. I'm talking about as far as thinking that you have to iron. I'm just talking about taking care of yourself. So thank you, guys. He said somebody's gonna take that too much to heart, and we don't want that. So for those who get it, they get it. For those who don't, let's try and soften it up for them. Let me be still today and listen to the truth in silence. When your twin flame, when your soulmate ends up opening up to you, make sure that you do kind of, not kind of, that, but that you do hold space for them. Before, when you were spiritually awakened and you just had this whole sense of self, right, and urgency, you got the floor and they basically handed it over to you, and they listened. They were in a very vulnerable state trying to understand everything that you might have been explaining. They're like, you've had the floor before. Now it's time for you to give them the respect in their floor. They need this from you. So make sure that you're being compassionate. And then they explain that there's some rewards that come that they're going to offer you. It's just about having that listening ear. So I'm so thankful for that. One more card that we're going to be pulling is from the mindfulness deck. I wanted to be, at first I was like, drink your water. For some reason I'm getting told, for like Taurus / the collective, drink your water. So I was like, let me go ahead and get into these mindfulness cards. Okay, I do see get a good night's sleep. um oh, this definitely feels like a vibe, and this definitely feels like the vibe of what I was explaining to y'all before, just about getting into a new spot or feeling refreshed in your spot, let alone. But if you are moving, just feeling that new da 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 smell, that new car smell, that new apartment smell, or even a new candle smell. All right, light a candle and enjoy the scent and your surroundings. Thank you, God. And he said he's calling you to be fully aware of this moment that you're in. Be fully aware of this moment that you're in. It's going to be prosperous for you. You're going to want to remember this. Lately, I have been doing a body cam vlogging style, and as go ahead, he said, go ahead and keep going. I was going to turn it off, and I ended up seeing 333, and I was gonna like kind of brush, not brush it off, but just take it into myself. And my son ends up yelling out, he's like 333, and I was like, okay, so you did see that, and absolutely true. And what I was thinking is that I should have my body cam on just in case I ever run into anybody, anybody, right? Um, and I wanted to remember the moment. Thank you, God. He said, say it all the way. I was referencing my twin flame. If I were to run into him, I would have that moment on film to where I could kind of recognize everything and not be in my head. I would have it for later on. So, yeah, there's that. I pray that you all heard these messages and that you take them in accordingly. I do pray for peace for anyone who is feeling that cloudiness above their heads, so that way you can receive not only some form of relief but clarification for where you're moving forward to, righteously so, or rightfully so. So I thank you all. If you want, please drop a comment if these messages resonated with you in any sense, in whichever ones. And then make sure you guys like and follow. Okay. I love y'all. Check out my TikTok where I go live there all the time and kind of do some mini free readings. They're like name card pulls, but I do have Instagram. Let me clear my throat. I do have Instagram where you guys are able to message there as well for extended readings, okay? Excuse me. So I thank you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye for now.